What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and this is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 101. And I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. Timothy, UFC Vegas 94, 11 fights. We had one to drop out. How do you feel about this card?
Some good fights. I think they got some good matchups. Bunch of really closely lined fights, so there's no like gigantic favorites. Couple binary matchups where it'd be interesting to see who's going to get their game on. I don't know from a betting standpoint. I think there's some long props that I'm going to go for today, but I just think that it's kind of tough for me betting wise in this one. I'd be interesting to chop it up with you.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an interesting card. Only 11 fights now, which it is what it is. Last week, we'll do a quick recap, I guess. We hit the Elder sub 2-3 at plus 600. We hit the Bonfim decision at plus 350. We hit the Salikov decision at plus 475, along with the split there. That was good. We hit one more. What was the other one? Do you remember? There was one more that we hit. Anyways, also that damn freaking Lambo parlay, man. Johnson decision, Bonfim decision, Salikov decision was pain, bro. 111-1, and Johnson finished him in round 3. If he just survives that knockdown, dude, like our ticket wins. It's 111-1. That one was like so damn close. And then the other one I had Frem Elder 2-3, but Frem never even got close. So yeah, I mean, overall, very good weekend, very good live betting week. My God, we got Salikov plus 2,000 round 3, Johnson plus 1,200 round 3. It was a very, very good card overall. Won a decent amount of money. Gave out 100 free subs to the Discord, which they're all loving it. And yeah, I mean, let's start off here. We got 11 fights. We will start out with the first fight of the night here. It's in the heavyweight division. It is the 10-3 Muhammad Usman versus the 8-2 Thomas Peterson. Kick us off here, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be a heavyweight slop fest if it goes to decision. Muhammad Usman is a dude that I'm like, I don't know. Both these guys are big question marks to me, but there seems to be like, I don't know. I just don't think that Muhammad Usman has even faced a takedown attempt in the UFC yet, and I just think that he's going to face him this fight. And we don't know really what he looks like. Maybe, I mean, did Kelleher take him down, or was it just like he did it from the bottom?
No, Usman didn't. He hasn't been taken down in the UFC.
Yeah, I just think like, I don't know. I just feel like Peterson will probably have opportunities to get him down in this fight. I think Usman, we just haven't seen him off his back, and I think like it's a situation where Peterson is aggressive if he does get on top, tries to get fights to the ground. He's not great striking. So I'm going to actually start off with a regular, and then I'll give a couple whisper bets here. Peterson by sub alone in any round is plus 1,000, and sub 2 plus 3,100, sub 3 plus 4,400. We've obviously seen Usman gas in fights and just be laying and preying on guys and just not have anything at the end of a fight. I do think that if Peterson doesn't death gas himself and if he can get on top, he could get a bunch of different types of subs against Usman. So I'm hoping that he is grapple heavy and tires out Usman and finishes him 2 or 3.
All right, Tim on the Peterson side and the sub. Before I give mine out, actually, I forgot to shout out my chat. Shame on me. I have to always shout out my chat, Tim. What am I doing? How come you didn't remind me?
My bad, dude. My bad.
Olajuwon in the house. What's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Dixon, what is up, man? Free UFC bets. Love the show so far. I'm Ogden 2-3. Well, Park 2-3 is good night because that fight is off. Andrew says, I smell a double Lambo hitting this weekend. That would be nuts. Kyle says, let's go. I need to cash in again this week. Joshua Frick, what other Discord gigs out? Plus 2,000 live. Yeah, that was insane. Oh, real Donald Trump is in here. Thank you, Narco and Tim. One of the best prop shows on the internet. I appreciate you, Mr. 45. Mr. Maldmano, what's up, boys? Kristen, hi. How are you doing? Who else we have in here? Double Flush, what's up? I'm feeling a Lambo parlay this week. Mushroom, always in the house. What's up? Kiwi Brew, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Who else do we have here? Daily Dig. Narco with the guns out. Nah, no guns. No guns over here. Bloom Dog, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining as well. Jay Watt, let's cash some Lambos, he says. The Becca. Emil, have any chance here? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Rem Dog, what's up, bro? Glenbot, what's up? Thanks for joining. DA07 says, one of these weeks, we need Narco to yell, let's cash those fucking tickets. Yeah, man. I keep forgetting to do that. I'm not doing it. What's wrong with me? What else do we got here? Steverson, what's up? Thanks for joining as well. Azure Blue. Hey, Narco, sorry I missed last week. Happy to see you and Tim. Next week should be a pretty good card. Thanks for showing up and smash the likes. Listen to the man and smash those likes. Blacked. What's up, brother? What's up, man? Thank you for joining. Jeffrey Blue, let's effing go. Aussie Fight Fan, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining as well. Lazelle, let's effing go. Josh Lamb, Evan Zucker, EQ, what's up? What's up, Big Steve? Thank you for joining. Gerardo, what's up, my man? Man, we have a lot of people in here. Payment, what's up? Abdi, best pot ever. Thank you. Appreciate the kind gesture. Fresh Gambles, what's up, my man? Thomas O'Connor, big Lambo season. Yes, it's coming. Riding high. What's good, my dude? And Nick Juarez, what's up? He says, can't wait to cash in the Discord tomorrow. Appreciate you, my man. HRB, what is up, my man? Narcu, can you believe Blades is plus 330? Yeah, I kind of can't. It's a pretty insane line. Maybe he broke a leg or something. We don't know it. Let's cash those fucking tickets. That's MMA D-Rob. And with that being said, 182 people in here. And I will give you my breakdown on the Muhammad Usman versus Thomas Peterson fight. So, I kind of wanted to play sub on Peterson as well, but, I'm watching Usman, and I think, so for one, I think he's much more athletic than Peterson. He's got more explosion. He's probably stronger. We don't really know much about his ground game. What I will tell you is, Brandon Sales, his takedown was very awkward. It's like a trip. He kind of ankle picked him while Usman was trying to run away after he initially defended a takedown, and then he got him down and got on top. But Sales is like a freaking monster, man. That guy's got to be weighing like 3-something during fight day. That guy does not look right. But yeah, outside of that, really, we don't really see this guy in his back much. He's doing much of the grappling. He grappled Dontel Mays early on in their career, like he was the one wrestling Mays. I do know that Peterson has this good wrestling background, and he had a nice takedown against Pogues. But I'm not really sure about a sub game, to be honest. He's got one sub and it's a key lock. I don't think he's gonna get a guy as explosive and strong as Usman and something like that, So I do think this fight is pretty close, like the line indicates. The one thing that stuck out to me when I looked at these props is, this fight to go to decision is a little juiced, right? It's at minus almost 160, 170, minus 205 in some places. Yet they're giving you the guy that can wrestle and that can win minutes on the ground a plus 255 decision ticket. And I think, that's the route I'm going to go. I think, when you look at Usman's decision line, it's like 160. This guy's almost $1 more And I think he has kind of the wrestling upside. And then on the feet, you know, I favor Usman because I think he has more power, but doesn't throw a lot of punches. You know, he lacks volume, and, you know, he can lose decisions. And a lot of these decisions that he's won, you know, are extremely close. Like the Kelleher one was extremely close. You know, the split decision in Ultimate Fighter was extremely close. So, you know, Thomas Peterson fought close against Jamal Pogues, who I think is a much better striker than Usman. So, yeah, I'm going to give Thomas Peterson by decision. Nothing crazy here. Plus 255. It's a used Lambo.
The fight that I was thinking about, the sub angle, to be honest, was I was thinking about Kelleher not taking him down, but Kelleher almost got a sub on his back with a Kimura, I'm pretty sure, against Usman, didn't he? Like, it was Kimura, like American, like he had his arm behind his back. I'm almost 100% sure. Like,
oh, when he reversed him, I think it was like a reversal or something. Yeah, I remember that.
Like, I just think that, yeah.
But he exploded out of it. Like, I don't know if he's gonna. Yeah, it's possible. Anything is possible. They're heavyweights. They're weird.
It's like you're saying, if there's like a physical, I don't disagree that I think probably Usman is stronger, especially early. But I don't know, man. Like the Junior Tafa fight for him.
Yeah, but the problem is Peterson's a gas bag too. That's my issue.
They both are. It's like I'm saying, like, I just think that if one of them is a little bit less gas than the other and gets on, like, if Peterson's a little bit less gas and gets on top, I just think like Usman could have some serious quit.
I think this is a good point right here, right? And forget about the bias part, but Peterson is going to wrestle. We know this. He's going to shoot for takedowns. And I think the important thing is just something that Usman hasn't seen consistently in a fight, right? Maybe somebody shoots one takedown or something, but Peterson's going to shoot a lot more than one, in my opinion. He's probably going to shoot 4 or 5, 6, you know? So, you know, if he happens to land one and force Usman to work over the fight, then maybe he looks completely washed in round 3. We don't know. So, yeah, but split decision, Evan, that's a terrible line, man. That's a terrible line. I don't want to go there at plus. I mean, plus 350 is a very, very bad line for split. I don't like going there.
I've literally stopped. I've always used to be known as like betting splits all the time. I literally have stopped.
They're gone. Most of them are gone now. Yeah.
They're so bad. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Fight number 2. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 10-4 Luana Carolina versus the 14-9 Lucia Pudilova. And I will kick this one off. So this one is interesting to me in the sense that there's 2 things that kind of threw me off. Originally on Tapology and SureDog, I was showing this fight as 35, right? And I'm like, all right, this makes sense. Luana Carolina has missed weight twice at 25. She missed weight by a good margin last time out. Pudilova is a 35er almost all of her career. This fight is probably at 35. Then I see that this fight is at 25. So for whatever crazy reason, they're making Pudilova come down to 25. And Carolina's still stuck at 25, even though she's been missing weight. She made weight this time, but she was the last person on the scale. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a sweat. Is she going to make weight? But she made weight. So the angle I'm looking at here for me, and listen, I don't think Pudilova is some jiu-jitsu wizard, but she does go for submissions. And of late, she's been going for she's been grappling a little bit more of late, you know. If you look at her Instagram, she's doing competitions of late, you know, a lot of no-gi. You know, Carolina has fought out of a lot of difficult positions. But if you look at Luana Carolina, right, in her last 2 fights, even Petrovic, there's been 5 sub attempts. I know Storyalenko is really good. And so you can, but how about the Petrovic fight where she allowed 2 sub attempts, you know? The thing is, I think there's going to be some grappling here. And I think that Pudilova probably at least lands 1 takedown, maybe more, right? And, you know, Carolina does make mistakes on the ground. I mean, she got knee barred, for Christ's sake, versus a girl that really doesn't get submissions, right? So she makes mistakes on the ground. And you're lining, you know, Pudilova plus 1,000 by submission. 10-1, giving it almost no chance. I think that's a bit wrong here. You know, I think the plus 1,000 is too large. I think Pudilova might find a sub attempt or two here. You know, I don't know. It could be, you know, like I said, she's been grappling a lot. And I think the game plan here is probably to grapple against Carolina. So, you know, Luana's looked good of late. You know, I'm not going to blame her. I don't know about mature, Dixon. She keeps missing weight. How mature is she? Like, she's not professional. That's for damn sure. She missed weight again last time out. So, you know, last fight, she was in very dicey positions. And, you know, Storyolenko gassed out bad. I mean, very, very bad in that fight. So, yeah, I'm going to take a shot here with this sub prop. You know, looking at all these girls, you know, the best grapplers, obviously Storyolenko that she's faced. And Storyolenko had her in some bad fucking spots. So she just gassed really hard. So I'm going to take a shot. Pudilova sub plus 1,000 here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just said that I stopped betting splits, and I'm going to go to the split on this one just because it's a horrible line. It's a used Lambo. It's plus 275. If you want to take a shot, I think Carolina split plus 550 would be the side that I would take. You could really, I mean, I honestly could see either one of these guys winning a split. I also think if they fought 10 times, I think like probably at least 3 go to split. Like, I just think that there's a good shot that that both could have success, maybe a little bit better striking, a little cleaner striking, maybe a tiny bit more volume from Luana. But I mean, Pudilova has been wrestling in her last few fights, a couple fights. But when she started off, it was basically like she was a striker that was getting out grappled by everybody. So like, I just think like she's tried to make an adjustment to her game, and she's had situations where she's like, I may have an advantage doing this now. So I just feel like if Pudilova gets a takedown, it could be a round. It could happen at any point, and it just could be just back and forth shit fest women's MMA where it's just a kind of a gross split. Like I said, I think it probably like 3 out of 10 times isn't a bad line to say like this could potentially go to split. So I lean Carolina split at plus 550, but end split use Lambo plus 275. I think fight goes at a pretty high clip.
Yeah, that's a disgusting split line to.
Yeah, that's gross. It is what I truly think does happen though. Honestly, yeah. It's not a good line, but I do think it's like,
yeah, I just don't think there's value on that type of price, man.
Yeah,
the price is horrific.
Well, if you look at like what we were just talking about, if you're looking at like a heavyweight fucking fight that's plus 350, and then you're looking at a women's MMA fight where the odds to go to decision are just so juiced to hell, it's like, I mean, I think there's more value on that than plus 350 on the heavyweights.
Yeah, on principle, I'm just never ever gonna play these under 400. I'm just not gonna do it. Fight number 3. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 18-5-1 Loik Radzhabov versus the 17-6 Trey Ogden. And Timothy, give us your Lambo play here.
So Loik seems to be, you know, a guy that has some solid wrestling, power in his hands to kind of set up his wrestling. Okay, jiu-jitsu, not fantastic, but really solid. He has a tendency to slow down a little bit in fights. I think that he's more of a functional gasser than a guy that's like death gassing all the time in fights. I think he's fought through it in certain fights. I think the Rubeski fight, him getting finished in that fight wasn't cardio. I think it was calf kicks that just broke the shit out of his legs, and he just couldn't really do anything to defend himself and or wrestle at all, which is usually kind of his go-to if he's losing striking battles. Then you go to Trey Ogden, and Trey Ogden is like legit pit bull or poodle when it comes to some of these fights. I think he's a very smart fighter. Comes out with good game plans typically, but I just think that he's a guy that you just don't really know. You know, losing. I thought he won against Levitt, but it was close enough. Whereas it's like, and there wasn't a lot of grappling in that fight, so he lost basically. Like, it was close enough in a striking battle with Jordan Levitt. So I just think like outside of like he does a bunch of leg kicks. He doesn't really have a ton of power on the feet. He just tries to almost like avoid certain fights. And he, again, is tactically solid, I think, striking, that he stays away from guys in fights and doesn't let them get their games off as much. So it tends to go towards close fights. But I was looking at the guys that Ogden has fought in the UFC, and he's got like, I think it's just like one of the biggest stat lies ever is like he's got 100% takedown defense in the UFC, but it's like against Nicholas Mota, against Bahamundes, Zellhuber, Holobaugh, and Levitt. So this is kind of a similar fight to Usman and Peterson in my book, where it's like Loic's going to wrestle. I think he's going to try to strike with him, and I think he's going to try to wrestle him as well. I don't think he's going to be afraid to go into Ogden's guard. And I don't know that even if Ogden is going to try to wrestle Loic, and if he does, then that helps out my Lambo play as well. I just think Loic's going to try to grapple him. I think that Ogden has made mistakes on the ground before. He's made mistakes going for takedowns. He's been guillotined twice by the same guy. I just think that Loic's going to try to grapple him, and I think that sub at plus 1,100 is similar to yours with last fight. It's like plus 1,100 on a fight where this guy's going to try to grapple, and Ogden can make mistakes on the ground. He can make way more mistakes on the ground than he does, and he's willing to make on the feet. So I feel like sub at 1,100 is really solid for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. Yeah, I mean, I bet Loic here early on. I think he's definitely the side of the two, man, because, you know, here's the thing that I noticed on tape. Like, Trey Ogden wants a fight to be clean, wants a fight to be where he's skirting on the cage, you know, where he's dictating the pace, where he's lulling you to sleep. And I went through like almost every single one of Loic's fight. There's no such fight like that with him. Like, this guy is either buzzing, coming forward, buzzing you, or grappling like a mother. And this guy is just, he's going to come forward in this fight. And I think that's something that Trey Ogden does not like. He does not like someone to pressure him, to not give him the fight that he wants, right? And the other thing that I noticed with Trey Ogden, to be honest, and you know, I saw it even in the Holobaugh fight on the feet, where Holobaugh landed a right hand and Ogden like kind of slumped and immediately went for a takedown. He does not like getting fucking punched, man. He, you know, Nicholas Mota hurt him very bad in that fight. And again, he shot for a takedown there. You know, Loic hits, you know, when you look at Loic, right, he has 17 wins. 8 of them are knockouts, but man, this guy hits hard, man. He hits like a truck, and he's in very good physical condition. He easily made weight, which is always a fucking battle with this guy, right? I do honestly think he's like kind of turning it around in his career, trying to take his career more serious, because the weight cuts were an issue, and he made weight very, very easily here. You know, I don't take a lot away from the Rebecca fight. He just got chopped away, man. Both legs. You know, it's like whatever. He was slowing down Al Sawadi fight, but Al Sawadi also kind of creates a lot of chaos. He throws with a lot of power himself. He's a strong wrestler and grappler as well, Sawadi. So he gave him a little issues in round 2. But Loic came back and KO'd him in round 3. And honestly, I think he's going to KO Trey Ogden. I think Trey Ogden has not faced a big hitter like this. And when I go over his career, he's really not faced anybody that hits very hard, you know, outside of Nicholas Mota, who's probably the biggest hitter. And he hurt him in that fight. He really hasn't faced big hitters. And this is definitely a big hitter in Loic. And also the small cage, like, you know, you can skirt a lot, but there's not going to be a lot of room like a bigger cage. So Loic KO is plus 480. I kind of feel like it's going to be decision, to be honest. But I do think there's going to be sketchy moments for Ogden. It's not going to be a clean fight. It's not going to be a fight where he doesn't get hurt or maybe even dropped. The only thing is, like, if he drops him and he jumps in his guard, maybe it stalls out, you know, something like that. It would be frustrating. But yeah, I mean, Loic plus 480 by KO. I like his side here. I think he's the rightful side. I mean, looking at Trey Ogden's wins, I mean, it's like nothing sticks out, bro. Like, well, what kind of wins are these? Kicking people, laying on top of people. Like, they're so like, I know it's smart and I know it's not good to take damage and all that, but again, he's fought guys that have allowed him to do these things, and I just don't think this guy's gonna allow you to do those things. Even if you try, I mean, the line for takedowns on Ogden's 2.5. I quite frankly don't get it. I don't think he's going to get over 2.5 takedowns on Lloyd.
Me either.
Lloyd is like very hard to take down. He's like a truck.
I think it'll set up for a guillotine so bad if he does.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Loik's over 1.5 at plus money. I think he might land more than 1.5 takedowns. So, yeah. Let's see what else people. Zell Huber was a win. Was it good? But it was, yeah. But Zell Huber was his first, I believe, first UFC fight, and he was like
shitting appearance. Yeah, he was
completely shell shocked. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on.
The worst ever fought.
Let's move on. Fight number 4 is in the flyweight division. It is the 13-5 Miranda Maverick versus the 7-2 Diani Barbosa, and I like Barbosa here by decision. It's plus 300. I think she's the much better striker on the feet. She has way more tools on the feet. The grappling, obviously, I favor Maverick a bit, but I don't think it's going to be like if she tries to clinch, this girl's a really good judoka. I don't think it's going to be that easy. Like, she might get tossed, you know? So, and there's a reason why, you know, they're lining Barbosa to get over 1.5 takedowns, which tells you that she's probably, you know, they're thinking that she probably gets a judo toss or two here. So, you know, Maverick, the problem that I have with Maverick is that, you know, her striking looked okay last time, but now that we're looking at Angia Lee, man, she just, to me, is like, she's washed, bro. The girl's just washed. And I played the dog last time against her, big dog or medium dog, and she easily won. You saw the Jazz Davicius fight. I mean, Jazz Davicius outboxed her, you know, on the feet. So it's like, okay, but Barbosa's very clean on the feet, in my opinion. She has very good kicks. She has a variety of weapons. Her hands are good. She actually has power, in my opinion, for WMMA. Her chin is a little suspect, but I don't know if Maverick is going to test that. And her cardio is definitely suspect to me, Barbosa, because I don't really like what I saw with her cardio. But I honestly think she can win a decision here. It's 3-1. I mean, Maverick, what is there to say? I mean, she's 5-5 in decisions, Tim. I don't think that's a great record. Yes, she's faced a much better level of opposition. Of course, I agree. But, you know, even back in her days, like, you know, she was losing to not very good fighters by decision, you know. So kind of tells me, like, if she doesn't have her way and this fight hits the scorecards, she might lose it. So I'm going to take Barbosa here, plus 300 by decision.
Yeah, I mean, in looking at like the three decision losses that Maverick has gotten in the UFC are against Jasmine, Erin Blanchfield, and Macy Barber. So it's like they're all very solid fighters.
How about Brogan Walker and fucking Deanna Bennett?
I'm saying that's in Invicta, and it's obviously younger in her career. I'm just saying in the UFC, I think that, you know, those are elite losses. I mean, I just think you got two fighters that are potentially fighting for titles, you know, and I think Jasmine's just not an easy out for anybody unless you can stay on the feet with her. But I mean, you hit the nail on the head for me. I think like this is a classic Miranda Maverick at minus 200. I'm just completely not interested in, but I think it's going to be a good live bet spot. You hit the nail on the head on the cardio on Barbosa is not great. I think she could be winning the fight and then just death gas in end of round 2 or round 3. For me, also Maverick on top is on bottom. Maverick is not that great. Like she's not she's just not solid. I mean, she doesn't always try to get up. Like, she's just not super active. But on the top, I like her game on the top. I think she's got dangerous jiu-jitsu. She tries to advance position. She just doesn't lay and hold people down. So I like the late round props for Maverick, round 2, round 3. And I also don't hate round 2, round 3 KO. Like, it's plus 4,000 and plus 4,200. I just could see just hit her, getting him out, elbowing her, giving her back up, and then just flattening her out and just throwing pitter patter strikes until the ref stops. So I like I wouldn't go for the sub 2-3 is probably more likely to happen, but I'll just go round 2, round 3, pretty good numbers. And round 2 KO is 40-1, round 3 KO is 42-1.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind 2-3, to be honest. I said what I said about Barbosa's cardio. I don't think it's very good. Moving on, fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 24-15 Brian Kelleher versus the 19-10 Cody Gibson. You have this one, Tim.
This is a tragic fight. Yeah, man, this is a tough one for me, but I gotta lean on. I mean, the question is, you got a guy with a skullet, so can you really trust a guy not named Charles Johnson with a skullet? I usually only trust a guy named Charles Johnson who has a skullet. All the love, brother. Way to cash those tickets, except for the points. Goddamn parlay. We hit him live big though. But I think Boom is like, if his neck and the neck injury and the surgery and shit like that, to me is just like, it's a major concern with, I don't know what he's going to be like in any of these fights, but just the level of competition. And I just think Cody at minus 200 versus a person that has a heartbeat is just really tough to get to. I mean, he got taken to the Katona-verse and almost finished by Brad Katona, which is about as bad as it could be. I mean, like he was not finished on the ground, but I mean, he was beating the shit out of him. Round 3 was a little dicey. You don't think so? I thought Katona was like as close to finishing that fight as he was like as any other fight that he's been in. You're muted.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think that was a pretty competitive fight, man. I mean, Cody Gibson outstruck Katona in that fight. I don't think like Katona was killing him or anything.
I don't think he was like, he wasn't dominating him by like volume, but he was hurting him all over.
And honestly, I think Katona versus Kelleher would be minus 400, to be honest.
Yeah, no, but I don't disagree with that. I think stylistically he matches up significantly better with Kelleher than Gibson does. It's more like I feel like Brad took him to the Brad Katona-verse.
I mean, I'm just saying Cody Gibson's not great, but I think that fight was like decently close. It wasn't like a one-sided affair at all, in my opinion.
I think for me, I would just go like, I just think that Kelleher has power to hurt him on the feet, and he's got a pretty dangerous guillotine if Cody tries to take him down or tries to make a mistake. I really hate this fight from a betting perspective, but I would take a chance on Boom inside the distance at plus 410. You cover if he gets a KO or gets a sub. I think he could potentially finish him either way. I really don't have much confidence in this fight.
Yeah. Both guys are older. That's one thing to note right off the bat. This guy's going to be turning 37. Kelleher is going to be turning 38. So they're not young guys. They're both a little older. I know Gibson's through a lot of injuries. And I agree with you. I'm not saying this line, I wouldn't touch Cody Gibson. But honestly, I also can't really touch Brian Kelleher at this point in his career, too. It's like, what does the guy have to offer at this point in his career? The one thing he had to offer was he's extremely tough, hard to knock out. And Cody Garbrandt laid him out, completely laid him out with one right hand, and so, that's gone that's gone off the wayside here as well. He's been subbed countless times, 8 fucking times. Oh my God, I didn't know it was that much. 8 fucking times this guy's been subbed. That's a little bit of a red flag, as well. So, but Cody Gibson's not great, like you said, and the guy has not looked great. The one thing I will say is Cody Gibson cardio has always been pretty good. The Katona fight was very, very high paced. 164 significant strikes landed from Cody Gibson in that fight. I mean, that's a lot of fucking strikes. Now, when you go back to the last fight against Miles Johns, I think that's a completely different fight because Miles Johns, he wrestled him some, and Miles Johns is a very good wrestler. And Cody Gibson does have a wrestling background. I mean, the guy is a pretty good wrestler. And honestly, I don't see Kelleher like shooting takedowns or having success with takedowns against Gibson. So this is probably standing for most of the fight. If it hits the ground, I think it's probably Gibson maybe getting takedowns. So I think 2-3. I'm going to go back to the wall with the 2-3 Gibson here, man. I had it in the Miles Johns fight. He came on in the last round until he got taken down. And, Johns kind of gassed as well. But Gibson 2-3 is 650 and 1,200. I mean, there's not much to say outside of that. When you look at Gibson, he's got a good gas tank. That the one thing he does have, and he keeps coming. He has a shitload of finishes in round 2 and 3. And so with that being said, I'm just going to take a little pop there at 653, 1,200. I'm not like screaming or running out the door trying to bet these, but I do think there might be some slight value in them. And it's not to say that I think Kelleher is like some gasser, but I think the pace, the pressure that this guy's going to put on Kelleher, I think the only thing that Kelleher can do well if he's smart in this fight is probably calf kick, honestly. Calf kick should be there for him, and he should use it. So if you're listening, Brad, Brad, if you're listening, Brian, make sure you kick that calf tomorrow because that's going to help you. All right, moving on. Fight number 6. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 9-0 Hyder Emil versus the 11-1 Young Lee, the Korean Tiger. I love this matchup, man. This is initially in this fight, just thinking out loud in my head, taping some of it, not a lot. I said, man, this under looks golden here. Like Hyder Emil's fighting. Korean Tiger loves to bite down and just chuck bombs. This under looks really good, But then I had kind of reservations because, Hyder Emil is the type of guy that you're just never going to find really in MMA. Like there's not many Hyder Emils. This guy is 1,000,000 miles per hour, non-fucking stop for the time that he's in the cage, Even when he's like fucking gassed, he's still like causing chaos, even if he's gassed. And Sean put it well. This is a type of guy that fights a pace that he can't even keep, right? He can't even keep the pace that he fights at. But the thing that I've seen over and over and over on tape with this guy is even with guys like with good cardio, they also tire out too. Because it's the insane pace that he puts that they haven't dealt with, and they're starting to get tired as well. And so that's what I was afraid of with the under. I'm like, okay, well, how about if he puts this crazy pace? I also think both guys are very durable, for one. I also think that Korean Tiger hits very hard. I think if anybody's knocking anybody out, it's probably him. But then my thought process is like, okay, how about if they get in this crazy fight, which I think it's for sure going to be like that, and both of them are tired now, then where the fuck is the finish going to come from? And so the other worry is with Korean Tiger is him getting held against the fence by Blake Builder for minutes upon minutes and minutes in round 1 and 2 is kind of like not a good look. But I know Emil probably doesn't do that. Like this guy if he's going to hold you, he's going to try to throw an elbow. He's going to try to separate and throw more punches. And so after all that, I get to the Emil decision, man. It's 5-1. Emil decision is 5-1. This guy, I mean, he's going to throw a shitload of volume. There's no doubt in my mind. For as long as this fight is going, this guy's going to come, and keep coming. So, Young Lee seems like he has good cardio. He's at fight ready. He looks like an absolute beast. But again, man, he's never fought anybody like this. And if you told me they're going to sit on the outside and fight a technical fight, I'd probably have 5 units on Korean Tiger. But that's not happening. That's just not how this guy fights. And he's going to make it chaos. And I think when you tell me that a fight's going to be chaos, that's kind of like what Hyder likes, right? And I don't think Korean Tiger has dealt with that. I mean, the closest one was maybe the Yazzie fight, but that's all grappling from Yazzie, and that was a split decision. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Emil decision here at plus 500. You can get it at Hard Rock or 365. I think it's kind of live. If this fight hits scorecards, I think it's going to be close. What do you have here, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious because when I was pre-tape, early tape to end tape, I was almost exactly in the same mindset that you were, where I'm like, man, I could see either one of these guys knocking each other out. And then I'm like, but boy, they're taking some big shots in some of these fights and they're still fighting. Nobody's finishing them, seem to be pretty durable. And then I started thinking like, all right, if Lee can get him down, there were some really, really bad positions. And Emil just seems to make some like overzealous kind of mistakes on the ground. I mean, like he had Fernie. I remember getting Fernie at 40-1 when he knocked him down. And then he took him down and then he gets reversed. And then Fernie has his back and he has almost a RNC locked in. And you're just like, dude, what? If he had any squeeze left, it's like he's dead. And I just think like it's weird. It's like I think that's positionally live, and then like you said, you see Blake Builder, who's getting massacred on the feet, just try to hold on for dear life on the cage, and that's not his style either. And it's just like he seems weak as shit, and he was able to hold those positions for long periods of time, and it didn't seem like, again, like you said too, it's not like Emil's going to do that and hold those positions. But I mean, the fact that Lee wasn't able to like get underhooks and actually push off of those positions is huge red flag to me from a grappling and just a physicality standpoint. Like to be able to get the fight to the ground. Like I wanted to bet sub for Lee bad. Like it was a good line. I thought maybe, like you said, like maybe Emil could tire out, and I think Lee has better cardio than him. But I really wanted to bet the sub and the sub late for Lee, but I'm with you on the decision for Emil, and I'm also on the split decision for Emil at 12-1 because I do think that it could be razor close as well, where both guys have huge moments and it's just tough to judge. So yeah, I couldn't get to the sub just from the physicality on Lee, and I think that this fight it could go if there's if these guys get to the middle of the second round, it could probably look like this is going decision. So. Yeah.
I'll tell you a crazy story I heard from Emil. Real quick, Chase Gibson fight. It's an LFA. He gets taken down. He gets his back taken by Chase Gibson. Chase Gibson has the body triangle, extremely tight body triangle on him. And he has an RNC very freaking deep under the chin. I mean, very, very. This guy's wincing in pain. He gets out of the first one. This guy gets a second one on him very deep. And this goes on for almost the whole round. And he gets out of it eventually, right? He goes back to the corner and he's wincing. And you could clearly see that Emil is hurt. And then in the interview, he says, in that fight in round 1, I broke my rib. And the guy had the body triangle on him with a broken rib, right? I can't imagine the pressure and that amount of pain he was probably in. He was in a rear naked choke, deep, still didn't tap, bro. Like, this guy is built a little different, honestly. I mean, he's Hawaiian. He's tough as shit. And yeah, he for sure Lee can knock him out. Anybody can be knocked. It doesn't matter how tough you are. But I'm just trying to point out this guy is fucking tough, man. If you're gonna submit him, you have to absolutely put him to sleep. There's no way this guy's gonna tap. I just told you a story where his rib is broken. He's got the body triangle squeezing the life out of him, and he's got a rear naked choke under his chin, and he's still not tapping. He's like, nah, fuck this. I'm not tapping. And then he said in the interview, he goes, I told myself, hey, you got a broken rib. It's killing you. Go out there and kill this man in round 2. And he goes out there and kills him in round 2. So it's a funny interview. I listened to that interview. It's hilarious. Just wanted to share it. All right. Let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 14-4-1 Ho Choi versus the 18-8 Bill Algeo. And this one's yours, Tim.
Interesting fight. I think that Bill Algeo is taking this fight a little bbit early after getting bonked by Kyle Nelson. # fuck Gary Copeland. I watching that fight back, and obviously these guys have a similar same opponent in Nelson, and it's how did they do in the striking? I think it's clearly obvious that Choi did better against Nelson striking than Algeo did. Algeo is hittable. He took some big power shots and kept coming at him stupidly. Also, I think that when Algeo was trying to go for, get in range and maybe even go for a takedown, I think Kyle Nelson's more physical than Choi is in this fight. Algeo, to me, in this fight, in general, is a guy that starts better as it gets going in the fight. As the fight gets going, he gets better and better and better. Choi, to me, seems like a guy that you can grapple. Seems like a guy that you can get to the ground and he makes mistakes. I also think that Choi's defense on the feet is not really that great either. So I'm going to go back to the well. Algeo round 2 plus 1,000. Algeo round 3 plus 1,400. I think it could be a KO. I think it could be a sub. I would lean sub, but I'm not going to take a risk on either one of those. I'll just say that he's able to outlast him in the first round and stay a little bit safer, maybe grapple him a little bit, and then eventually get him out of there in round 2 or round 3.
Yeah, I mean, this Algeo 2-3 has been destroying me. I keep playing it. I got destroyed last time. I thought it was looking good for him. I'm like, okay, he's going to survive this. He's not going to get knocked out. He looks like he's running. And then the fucking ref stops it. I'm like, what the fuck? This is a bad stoppage. And then, whatever happens. But, this Ho Choi guy, he's got one fight in 5 years. Okay. Prior to that, he got his ass kicked. Okay. In the one fight versus Swanson. He got fucking knocked out bad by Stevens. He got again knocked out bad by Jourdain. I mean, Jourdain's was very bad. And honestly, Jourdain's not known for a one-hitter quitter, and that was a one-hitter quitter. Then he comes back against Nelson, gets hurt in that fight as well against Nelson. This guy's chin is dust, bro. It's for sure dust. I'm almost certain this guy's chin is dust. And, these long layoffs don't help. It never helped. I mean, he came back. It didn't help his chin, in my opinion. He got hurt again. Algeo is, a guy that's going to put a pace on you. And this guy just, there's a ton of ring rust, even though he fought once. But, I mean, what's one time in 5 years, And then again, he's not fought a guy like Bill Algeo, really. But Algeo is going to come and throw a shit ton of volume and make things hectic. And, round 2, round 3 is 1,000 and 1,400. I mean, it could be KO, honestly, Tim. Honestly, I think it could be KO because I think, when you look at Algeo, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of power in his hands. It's mostly accumulation. It's mostly those. But he throws like kicks, knees up the middle, weird shit, right? And honestly, he the TJ Brown one, if you ask me, it's kind of a knockout, but he got a sub. He was hurt bad, TJ Brown, right? And then he got the sub in that one. So, I mean, the guy doesn't have a lot of knockouts, but I think this guy's a prime candidate to probably get knocked out, honestly. So, I'm going to take a shot. 2-3 here on Algeo, 1,000, 1,400. I don't mind it. I'm with you on that one. Moving on, fight number 8. It is in the flyweight division. It is a 16-5-1 Cody Durden versus the 13-5-2 Bruno Silva. And I will kick this one off. I like Silva KO straight up. It's plus 750 right now. I got 850. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy hits extremely hard for flyweight. These guys have sparred together before. What I will say is Durden didn't want to take this fight. He said the reasoning was because he's an ATT guy and, I don't like to fight against my teammates. But Bruno Silva's like, no, I want to take this fight. Why am I not taking this fight? And so, I think he knows something that, probably Cody Durden knows as well. And, Cody Durden has mentioned that he knows this guy has a lot of power. I mean, you could see it on tape, man. His right hand is nasty. He has a lot of power in that right hand for 25. He told Cody Durden in the face-offs, at their face-offs, he goes, "You're gonna be my bonus," or something about I'm gonna get my bonus from you or something. So he's looking to get he's looking to get a finish here. I just think the number is very, very big for a guy that fucking cracks, man. Listen, I'll tell you one thing right now. I know it was a front kick to the face, but Tyson Nam is about as tough as they fucking come. You know what I'm saying? And he almost had him knocked out. So, this guy has a ton of power. I think he can. I mean, he buzzed Tagir a couple of times in that fight. Tagir, he out-grappled Tagir badly in round 3. This guy's really good everywhere. So I have a bet on him. I didn't understand why he was the dog of the two, to be honest. It makes no sense to me. I think he's the better fighter everywhere, and yet he was the dog. So Silva KO. I feel it coming. It's plus 750. I think that's too big of a number.
Definitely on the Silva side for me as well. I feel like, Cody Durden got club and sub versus Makayev, so that kind of goes along with your potential for a knockout for Silva. I'm going to play it safer and go ITD plus 240 because I really do see a potential of him subbing Durden as well. And I also don't hate like round 2, round 3, 950 plus 1,300, sub 2, sub 3, 16 and 22-1. Like, I just think that you hit the nail on the head in the last statement that you made about the Tagir. These guys have a similar opponent in Tagir, and Tagir absolutely sodomized Durden on the ground. Like, he had no problem getting him down. He had no problem advancing positions, and eventually got the sub. I was on sub for Tagir in that fight as well, and I just thought it was like even a low line, and I was just like, dude, I think he's just gonna break. He's gonna break Cody. I mean, like, this is just it. Cody's, the wins where he's winning and not getting subbed against grapplers. He got caught against Flick as well. Obviously, it's a jumping guillotine like they did against him. It was pretty sneaky, but like the guys that Durden has been able to wrestle and out grapple are guys that just don't have good wrestling and don't have strong, like Hadley, Charles Johnson, like these guys that he's winning these fights against. These guys, this is not Silva. Silva got 4 takedowns against Tagir, had 4 minutes of control against him. And was able to get up versus him. So in every setting of a grappling fight, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I think that he's better than Cody is grappling. Can they stand and bag? I think somebody said in the chat that Cody's not looking to wrestle. I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, these guys have trained together. He probably knows he's going to lose that battle, or he probably knows that he's going to put himself in some dangerous positions if he tries to wrestle him. So that probably goes well for your KO line. But yeah, I think inside the distance, it's a huge Corolla plus 240. Take shots on round 2, round 3, and then potentially sub round 2, round 3 for me.
Someone's asking, where did you get 750? You can get it on Hard Rock right now. It's 750. There was a couple other places actually. Let's see where else it was 750. I don't remember. ESPN Bet possibly was 750. Yeah. I mean, I got 850. I gave it out to the Discord at 850, so it was a lot more than that. Linus severely moved. Do you think that it matters? I don't think it matters, honestly, Nick. They're at the same gym. They're not, Silva's only been there 14 weeks, I believe. So I don't think, and plus Silva mentioned like they kind of like he's in a different group than Cody. Cody's in a different group. He's in a different, I think they said they've sparred a couple of times, but for the most part, they don't train together. Yeah, but this, I don't believe this whatsoever. Don't even believe that. Are you out of your mind? He's not going to sit there and strike with, he's going to get knocked out for sure then if he's going to sit there and strike. But yeah, let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 20-8 Kurt Holobaugh versus the 15-2 Kenan Krzyzewski. And I can kick this one off. Kenan came in a lot better shape. A lot better shape. I mean, he looked really, really good on the scales. And, the guy's at Fighting Nerds now, man. Big, big plus for me. I think that's one of the best gyms right now, man, as far as, these up-and-coming fighters. I mean, what better gym is there than Fighting Nerds? Everybody keeps winning from that gym. I'll be honest with you, Kenan on the scales, I mean, even when he was in good shape, like it never looked like this. It looks like he put like 10 pounds of muscle on, man. It looked incredible on the scales. Not that muscle is going to help you, but it just shows that, he's probably training a lot more intensely than he previously was. Because if you look at the Fighting Nerds and how they spar, I mean, these guys try to kill each other in sparring. They're going hard. They're like really going at it. I mean, it's intense training in that room. And you could see the effects of his body. I mean, his body looks much, much better now. And the other thing is, I kind of feel like Holobaugh is like on his last leg, this is probably going to be standing. And I like Holobaugh's hands better than Krzyzewski. But Krzyzewski has very, very nasty calf kicks. He's got a lot more weapons, in my opinion, than Holobaugh. And I think if anybody's going to get a takedown, I think it's Krzyzewski, to be honest. So both guys are black belts in jiu-jitsu. I know Holobaugh's been subbed. I don't think this guy's going to sub Holobaugh, to be honest. I kind of feel like this is going to be a close fight going to decision. Split is plus 600. I think that's a playable split. I do like Krzyzewski side a little bit more. So I took some Krzyzewski by decision as well at plus 350. But yeah, I mean, split plus 600, Krzyzewski decision plus 350 is where I'm going with this fight. I think this fight hits the scorecards, Tim.
Yeah, that's a really, really good line on the split here. I totally think that I missed that one completely. I had two things that I thought could happen in this fight that were both Lambos. I thought that, Kurt KO at plus 390 is not a great line. I was hoping to get like Kurt KO at like plus 500 or better, maybe plus 550 or better, to maybe take a shot at it. So looking at like the percentages of how I think the fight could finish compared to like the line, I think it's a worse line on Kenan by decision, but I think it's a much more likely outcome. Then I think the KO is also a likely outcome for this fight for Kurt, but I don't think it's percentage wise lined correctly. So I do think that they're both possible. I think Kenan has shown that he's got some chin issues at times. The Brenner fight, I don't think is that bad, but I think the other fight that he got knocked out was pretty bad. And I think that Kurt, I mean, he's very durable on the feet, and the time that he got subbed was after he knocked down Shane Burgos and then got meme armbarred. So it was just like, I just think he just completely got caught in that situation. I think he's typically pretty very defensively responsible on the ground and with his jiu-jitsu. I think that was kind of meme-ish for Burgos. And I think that he also went down into his guard after he knocked him down and probably thought he was going to get the finish and then just got caught. So yeah, I actually really like your end split a ton. I think it's Kanan split is not worth it. It's at plus 900. I was hoping that it would be a much higher number than that, but the decision for Kanan for me at plus, I think it's plus 310. Where did you get plus 350 at?
350 is probably Hard Rock.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, anything over 3-1 for him to win.
Yeah. Kanan by decision, Hard Rock plus 350.
Yeah. Anything over 3-1 for Kanan for decision. And then I really, again, I like your end split at plus 600 a lot. I didn't even notice it, but that's,
I even think you can get it close, 320 on what you call it. But yeah.
I like those. Kurt's 3-6 in decisions too. The final thing about that. So.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt is a one-trick pony, kind of like. I think he's just like a stand-up guy, right? Like
he just. I mean, like like you said, he's so much older now, and it's just like his takedown defense versus Ogden was so tragic, and I don't think that Kanan's wrestling is great. He's usually kind of a trip guy, but I think like it doesn't have to be great against Holobaugh.
By the way, like I disagree with you in the sense that when you say Kanan other knockout was bad, it was exactly the same thing as exactly the same behind the ear shot he ate. Same exact thing, same reaction too.
That's the reaction. Yeah, there's reaction both times.
Like but the thing is, it's behind the ear. He's completely out. Like you could see he was out already prior. I don't think it's his chin, man. His chin is actually good. He took some flush shots from Brenner on the chin. Didn't even phase him. Like, and other fights too. Like, I don't think he's a chin issue. It's obviously just they're catching him behind the ear, and I guess anybody can get knocked out like that. But let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 15-5 Steve Garcia versus the 11-6 Sung Woo Choi. Is this one mine or yours? Yours, right? Or is it mine?
This one is mine.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a probably fight of the night type of fight here. I think it's an absolute bloodbath between these guys. Both guys come and give entertaining fights every time they're in the cage. Both are defensively not very responsible. I think Choi is more technical, even though he's not super technical. I think that Garcia is he's been just absolutely memeing guys after getting his ass kicked in some of these fights, minus the Chase Hooper fight, where that was just once he kept the fight standing, Chase was dead. Garcia getting axe kicked by Ontiveros a couple times was comical. But again, he just fought through it. I thought the fight against Costa, I thought it should have been a sub, but then he just let it go and then just started beating the shit out of him, I think, when he was pretty much unconscious. So I think you get a bunch of, like, with Garcia, you get a bunch of guys that, like, are hurting him, winning, or even potentially winning round one, and then he just keeps fighting through it and memes these guys. On the Choi side, for me, same thing. I think, like, he's winning against Kairys until he loses. Gets knocked out. His age like milk. His knockout loss versus Troiano is just terrible. Both of them having the knockout at the simultaneous knockdown was fucking hilarious. One of the coolest moments in MMA. But him getting knocked out in that fight was pretty tragic. I think Troiano's not a big, powerful hitter, I don't think. And I think that it was just like a bad look for him. So I don't know. I think either one of these guys could get a knockout. I think either one could get, finish the other. It's to me, I think Steve's been showing that he can fight through a little bit more. So I'll take a small stab on round 2 plus 850, round 3 plus 1400. If you want to take a small stab at the sub 2 for Garcia, it's plus 4600. I think he could club and sub him. I think he obviously, like I said, he had the back of Melt Costa after he hurt him and literally was inches away from choking him out and just chose not to. So I think round 2 plus 850. I actually think round 2 isn't bad for Garcia. I think he's got a bunch of finishes in round 2 as well. So And round 1 is not a Lambo. So I'll take round 2 plus 850, round 3 plus 1400. And now I don't hate stabbing it sub 2 at 46-1.
Yeah, I'm just going to go Garcia round 2 plus 800. I don't think it hits, to be honest. I think this is, here's the thing that I noticed with both guys. When Choi gets hurt, he bites down even harder and starts throwing. So that's bad. And the other guy is an absolute maniac. We already know this. Looking at Choi, the stats are insane, bro. His last 3 fights, Tim, there's been 8 knockdowns in 3 fights. How is that even fucking possible? 8 knockdowns in 3 fights, bro. And then the previous 2, there's 2 more knockdowns. So there's 10 knockdowns in 5 fights with this guy. This guy is just absolutely has a bad chin. That's for damn sure. When Troiano's dropping you left. And by the way, the Troiano fight, there was 3 knockdowns. They didn't count one for Troiano. Another one. There was 3 fucking knockdowns from Troiano in that fight. And the guy really doesn't knock down almost anybody. But yet here he is knocking Choi down left, right, and center. And now he faces a crazy maniac, Steve Garcia, who's going to just absolutely throw that left hand to try to kill you. I honestly don't see this fight going over 1.5. I frankly really I paid the juice at minus 180. I love the under 1.5 here. One of these guys is getting killed. I don't know who it is. I really don't know who it is. But one of them is definitely getting killed. And so, Choi's left hook is nasty. It's really, really good and has a lot of fucking power on it. But, he's there to be hit, man. He's very, very hittable as well. So the left straight down the pipe is going to probably land for Garcia. I just don't know, who's going to land first because I think one of them is going to go out. The one thing I will give to the people that are here and watching, and they're the lucky ones because I gave it to my Discord, is that if you have Bet365, okay, you go over and you play the same game parlay that I kind of like. And here's the same game parlay on Bet365. Most significant strikes, Sungwoo Choi. Okay? Steve Garcia by knockout. And in round 2, it's plus 4,000. So I think that's a very good single game parlay. If this fight gets to round 2, I think he can get that knockout and you probably cash that ticket because I do think that Sungwoo Choi will land more strikes, the significant strikes, to be honest. I think he's a little bit more cleaner on the feet than Garcia is, but that line 40-1, I think it's a little crazy. I think it's a very, very good line. So
guys, don't bet that until after the show, fuckers. I don't want to get to fucking.
Wait, do you have 365?
I don't.
Oh.
I should actually have you bet it for me.
Oh, all right. Yeah. That's just something I gave out to my Discord and I shared it here. With that being said, that's 10 fights. We're off to the main event. Please, 454. Hit that like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit that damn bell down there so that you know when we go live here on my show. Also, my Discord link is down below, guys. $25 a month. I don't know, what does that come out to? Less than $1 a day, and you could have hit that plus 2,000 on Salikov last week and probably paid for your membership for the year. Because there was at least 2 tickets. One was over 10K, one was over 12K that hit Salikov round 3. That was fucking golden, along with Johnson round 3 plus 1,200. Kind of insane week for live betting. With that being said, fight number 11. It is the main event in the strawweight division. It is the 14-3-1 Amanda Lemos versus the 20-3 Verna Jandiroba. And I'm a Jandiroba hater. She's been making me obviously pay, but I'm not jumping off the ship, Tim. Fuck that. Now you're telling me she's facing the biggest hitter she's ever faced and I'm going to jump off the ship now? No. Hell no. On top of it, it's known like Jandiroba's had like freaking 7 surgeries between her 2 legs on her knees. And then we watched Lemos absolutely destroy Mackenzie Dern's calf, which I don't know. I'm pretty sure Jandiroba cannot take the shots that Dern took to the leg. She might just crumble with those. But with that being said, I do think Jandiroba might have some early success with a takedown, wrapping up those legs. It does show me that that Lemos is very good defensively when it comes to jiu-jitsu, to be honest. I don't think she's bad down there. She knows what she's doing. She defends very well. She stays safe. And then she works up when she can, So, she was on the bottom a lot against Mackenzie Dern in very bad positions. She survived. She was in some horrendous positions versus Zhang Wei Li while she was getting her ass whipped on top of it, and she got out of all of them. I know Jandiroba is really good down there, but this girl's really good when it comes to sub defense, man, on the ground. I don't really see Jandiroba subbing her. I really don't. The other thing is, I think she's extremely strong, man. She's a strong girl for this division. And the stats tell you it, man. This girl has 8 fucking knockouts out of 14 wins at fucking strawweight. That should tell you something. She almost had Mackenzie Dern knocked out last fight. I mean, in that round where she dropped Mackenzie Dern, where Mackenzie Dern reacted like this and she dropped to the ground, the ref should have stopped it. When a fighter reacts like that, you need to fucking stop the fight, dude. Like, that's a terrible reaction. And, he didn't stop it, whatever, but that should have been stopped, in my opinion. So here we are, and we're fucking back to Jandiroba. We're back to the fact that, everything on tape tells me Jandiroba is a gas job. Even in her fucking last fight against, Lupi Godonez, she got popped once in the face in round 3, and she completely got shook. And fucking Lupi somehow lets her take her down, dude, when she was fucking gassed and everything. I was so damn mad at Lupi allowing that, and Lupi is just annoying with how she fights sometimes, quite honestly. So, and also Lupi's honestly small. She's small. She's not a powerhouse like fucking Lemos is. Lemos is a powerhouse, man. So the shots that Lemos is going to land on you are not going to feel like Lupi's. I'll tell you that. That's for damn sure. So, with that being said, Lemos has shown me she has good cardio. When you can win a round 4 against Wang Zhili, the champion, after getting absolutely mauled for 3 rounds, having a 10-8, getting your ass kicked, and still win a round in round 4, shows me your cardio is up to par, okay? And now she's facing a girl in Verna who gasses in 3-round fights. She's never gone 5, I believe. She has to go to 5 rounds here if she doesn't finish early. How can I not play 3-4-5 here? I've been playing 2-3 against this girl, and now I get 3-4-5 with Lemos, and they're 14, 18, and 25. But I have the whisper bet of the week, and that's going to be Lemos by submission in rounds 3, 4, and 5. And you're looking at some insane numbers. I've seen anywhere from 70-1 to 80-1 on round 3. I've seen round 4 at 90 and 100-1. And I've seen round 3 at 110 and 120-1. Look around for them because they're out there. Listen, Jandiroba is the better jiu-jitsu girl. But when you're tired, when you're hurt, and you're shooting for some fucking weird-ass takedown while you're hurt, fuck yeah, Lemos can sub you. She's got nasty fucking power, and she's got probably a nasty squeeze. She had 2 submission attempts on fucking Zhang Li in that fight. So, I don't know. Those lines, to me, are astronomical, and we've seen Rodolfo Vieira, the best jiu-jitsu guy coming into MMA, get subbed when he's tired, right? Why the fuck can she not sub her later in this fight when this girl's tired? So, 7,000, 9,000, 120-1. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, why the fuck not? I mean, we were talking about it in Discord, and I said that I didn't think that she was going to sub her. And the more I thought about it, the more I started thinking like, Fluffy subs Vieira, Yuri subs Glover. Like these are the type of situations where you get these meme subs at these crazy lines. You get 5-round fights. You get just a way, 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 way better grappler that death gasses, and then that's when they sub. I mean, it's not like it's the way it happens all the time. So when you get these guys that nobody expects to get a sub, that's how it happens. So I don't hate it at all. I had it written down myself as just really good lines, but rounds 3, 4, 5 for Lemos myself. I said in the Discord a bunch early this week, like, do just the calf kicks, man. Like the calf kicks are real. The calf kicks are a real deal, especially for somebody that's trying to get takedowns and has to get close after she lands a few of these. I will say about Verna that her best performances, in my opinion, were in Deuce Bigelow, The Longest Yard, Waterboy, 51st Dates. These are some of the best performances that she's put on over and over and over. So I'm proud of her in that respect. I have had Verna by sub in some fights, and she's disappointed me heavily. Even the time that I had her by sub against Murata, and she breaks her fucking arm and it's a KO. So yeah, I've lost a fair share of money betting Verna fights and betting her violence and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that Lemos does. Lemos for me has been a cash cow. Honestly, I think I've won a majority of her fights, almost all of her fights. I had huge prop on sub by Andrade. I had Weili. I think I lost on Weili inside the distance against her, but I had Weili to win. I've had her by sub a few times at huge lines against Karate Hottie. Like I really like Lemos. And like you said, man, she just fucking packs huge ass punch, like just huge. Like she just strikes harder by a long shot, by way harder than anybody that Verna's fought. So it's just like, could Verna have just like, Rob Schneider type durability that we just don't know about? Like, yeah, absolutely. She's been in Mr. Deeds, as we found out as well, Waterboy. So we just don't know what she's got durability wise, but I think the calf kicks eventually get to her. I think that she breaks her legs eventually. I could even see like a calf kick fucking knockout in this fight. I honestly could see her just go down and try to beg for her to get into her guard a few times, kick her, have her keep going down, and like the third time the ref just stops it. So I could see her KOing her in a bunch of different ways. So yeah, I like 3, 4, 5 for Lemos, and gonna stab extremely small on the sub 3, 4, 5 as well with you, just to have some fun.
Yeah. I mean, it probably doesn't hit. That's why the numbers are there. But, I've learned throughout the years that when someone's tired and they're gassed and I know that the other person's capable of subbing you, right? And I think Lemos is definitely capable of subbing. I mean, I do think Lemos is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing. And with putting all that together, being tired, the other girl knows how to sub. This other girl could shoot sloppy takedowns. It could be a club and sub. And you're giving me 90 to 1, 110 to 1, 120 to 1. I'm going to freaking take a shot at it. Of course I will. But yeah, that does it. All 11 fights. We went over them. Lambo Plays. Lambo parlay time, because Mushroom, we don't forget Mushroom. You don't have to remind us every time. That's it. I got it now. There's no more missing Lambo parlays for you. But I'll start off with mine, Tim. I have 2 of them. Last week we came within 1, man, on both of them, which sucks. But we're going to try it again here. The first one's going to be Barbosa decision, plus 300. Krzyzewski decision, plus 350. Peterson decision, plus 255. And it's 54 to 1. The second one is the actual home run shot Lambo parlay. It's going to be Bruno Silva KO. It's going to be Lee KO. And then I'm going to take those 2, and you're going to play 3, 4, 5 KO on Lemos, and then 3, 4, 5 sub on Lemos. And if you add that, it's going to be, if you add this KO, it's going to be 183 to 1. And if you add the sub, It's 807 to 1. So it's basically Silva KO, Lee KO, and then Lemos 345 KO or Lemos 345 sub.
What is Silva and Lee KO just by itself?
22 to 1, I believe.
Okay, so it's not terrible at all either. I like that.
All right. What's yours?
So I was really struggling this week on my Lambo plays, to be honest. I have Maverick by point. Emil by points. Loic by points is 24 to 1. I'll start off with this one as the first one. And just like you're gonna add like a progressive kind of deal with this one. So Emil points, Loic points is 24 to 1. Add Maverick points, it's 45 to 1. Add Silva ITD, it's 145 to 1. I think that that's pretty good, to be honest. I think that I could see the first 2 hitting solidly. I could see the first 3 potentially hitting solidly. The other one that I had was just I'll go for a monster one since you went for a monster one as well. Peterson by sub, Loic by sub is 131 to 1. Any round.
All right. Sounds good. You went for a home run. That's the Jonathan Tamayo size. Yeah, he won the main event for 10 million. He's definitely got a Lambo. Yeah, appreciate all of you guys. 476 in here. You guys are the best. I appreciate you guys per usual. Thank you to my co-host Timothy Troiano, always joining, always spitting out fire here. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. Thank you again to everybody. Good luck tomorrow. Hope you guys crush it. If you're not in the Discord, you better get in there. Worth every penny. And one last thing, Tim. Let's cash those tickets for UFC Vegas 94.